So R-Type then. Why R-Type? Well, I've been playing a lot of arcade-style games recently at home, and there's a big problem with that. And the real problem is, because they're based on classic arcade games, those were basically designed to be coin suckers. And so the idea there was you line up your 20-cent pieces or quarters, depending on where you are, or 10p pieces, or wherever you happened to play arcades back in the day. In my time, it was 20-cent pieces. And you would line them up, and the machine would eat them up over time fairly quickly. The idea was that you were meant to play for a couple of minutes at a time. You play that at home, it's a very different proposition because you've got effectively unlimited credits, which can make games, well, honestly, a little bit dull. It can very much reveal how limited they were or are. There I go. Hence, the idea of just doing, right, I'm going to play this, but I've got 3 credits. That's all I've got. I can get as far as I can on 3 credits and no further. Is this a massively original idea? I've no idea. I really haven't done the research. If I'm ripping off somebody's brilliantly conceived pre-notion, then, well, sorry, didn't know about it. Anyhow, R-Type's a series I've got a kind of an interesting history with, and especially this version. So this is, strictly speaking, this is R-Types. This is the PlayStation 1 version of the game. I, again, haven't really done the research, don't know whether or not there's substantial differences between this and the classic arcade version. I can't imagine that the original PlayStation, as limited as it seems today, would have any issues in dealing with a game that came out, 10 years prior to the PlayStation's arrival? But there could be minor differences between this and the arcade, I'm not entirely sure. This is also a game where I've got a weird little bit of personal history at play as well, because this was the very last game, oddly enough, that I bought as a single man. I just randomly happened to buy it 2 days before I got married. And I've always liked it as a game, probably going back to when I used to play the classic Master System version. It's a fun version of the game if you've never played it before. It also appeals to what I like in a shooter. I'm not huge on the kind of bullet hell shooters. I'm not bad at them, I'm not terrible, I'm not brilliant at this either, as I'm sure you will fairly shortly see. But the thing with those is that you really do spend far, far more time just kind of dodging or memorising patterns or different rules. I like a slightly more classical shooter, and this feels like a slightly more classical shooter to me. I don't know if I'm going to get commentary going throughout this whole thing. You might just be watching me play. Let's find out. Let's see if I can get that thing stuck in his ribcage in the classic style without him killing me. As that is, if I recall correctly, exactly the way that you kill this particular character. I also sort of like the fact that this don't really have a huge plot. If I remember the start of the arcade game properly, it's basically just blast off and defeat the evil Bido Empire. Well, I'm taking your word for it that they're evil. They seem to be well stocked with all kinds of weird, squishy alien beings, and certainly they do seem to mean me harm. There are, of course, a couple of sequels, and in fact, this version has R-Type 2 on it. I think I've got R-Type Delta kicking around somewhere, and I think there's a few later ones in the series as well. One of the other things I like about this game as well is just that kind of variety. It's not just here's wave after wave of repeating things. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing in and of itself, but, you know, I've gone from fighting through space to fighting, space crab kind of things. I mean, there's something vaguely H.R. Geiger-esque going on here, I guess. I will, you'll note, make a variety of odd noises while I play these games. It's just something that I do. I'm also not going for just in case it wasn't clear before, I'm not going for any kind of high score record or finishing into 1 credit record. I'm sure people have done that. I'm sure my own skill set pales next to them. No, I'm just playing for the fun of it. I have 3 credits to get as far as I can possibly get. I'm now trying to think as to whether or not I've ever actually finished this game, or at least made it loop, because I have a dim feeling this one loves loops. But again, haven't done a great deal of research, really just kind of diving into this for the sheer fun of it. The sheer fun of playing a game. What a wild and crazy concept that is. I will admit I'm also playing a lot of arcade games at the moment because I am relatively time poor. And there is something nice about a game that really is designed only to be played a few minutes at a time. This harp thing is odd, and I've always thought it's odd. I mean, it's not actually pumping anything but this space worm out of it. So why is it so flashy? Why is it a heart shape? Why is there an eye on the top of it? I'm probably overthinking this, really. At least I'm surviving. It's a plus. as I said before, the version I'm most familiar with, this one actually, not own this particular copy of R-Types for some time, is the Master System version. Obviously a little bit more visually crude, but well worth checking out if you've got the capacity to do so. This is a little bit more arcade classic. And actually, here's another good example of something that I like about this game in terms of the variety, because this entire level is this spaceship. And if you fail, there's no checkpointing. You very, very simply start back again at the front of the spaceship. It's the only logical thing you could actually do, because of the way this one works. I am probably going to stuff this up as well, because I'm not that grand at this particular side of it. I must admit I also like this because I am a fan of classic old school high score chasing stuff, and this very much is in that vein. I'm sure if I played a whole bunch of this, I haven't played this for ages, this just happened to be what caught my fancy this afternoon, but I'm sure if I... and that was really dumb. And as I said, we start again. I'm still within my first credit, and I'm actually really quite surprised that I've done this well, because it's been ages since I've played this. Although, to be fair, this is not a game that fires too many absolutely unwinnable challenges. There's not too much in this where you're left getting killed by something you couldn't have foreseen. The bullet speed is not super fast. You've got time to think about what you're doing. The power-ups make sense. It's all reasonable in that context. But anyway, let's see if I can actually get through this time. That'd be nice. So, red lasers. Cannot actually grab them with my force thing. Must remember. Better. Not my favourite weapon, and if I remember correctly, I need a laser to have any chance of actually defeating that, well, pink, let's face it, slightly phallic thing. Yeah, I went there. No, actually, that was exactly what I wanted to do, but I'm not sure. Yeah, no, I think yeah, I didn't go far enough forward there, and I just got myself into a position where it could crush me. So maybe this is my logical limit. Stay tuned to find out. No, I don't know why that thing's throwing pinballs at me either. Probably best not to ask. You know what, the evil Bido Empire's not bad at repairing bits of its spaceship, because I could have sworn I trashed this only seconds ago. But there you go. There you go. Okay, so there's my first credit gone. Oh, I've done okay. I'm happy enough with that. It's reasonable enough. And in the arcades, I would be scrambling for another 20-cent piece. Oh, it wants my name in there, but no. Instead, I have my 3 credits, and I can continue straight at the spaceship. If I remember correctly, this version, once you've gone through a level, as long as you leave the power on the PlayStation, will actually let you do a straight level select. Now, of course, you can just light up as many credits as you like, which is fine. Not the way I'm playing it at the moment, because I want to create that level of challenge for myself. Okay, that would have been embarrassing. Getting killed by a power-up is never not mortifying. What I guess I also like about this, and I mean, come on, you've seen some examples in this gameplay I'm doing right now, is that most of the time, when I die, it's basically my own fault. I'm basically just doing something dumb. I'm not reacting in time to something that was already on the screen. And that's fine. I'm not going to pretend that I'm the world's greatest player of this particular game, but all of that. What? Okay, that was a little bit less visible. Okay, now I need the laser there really rather badly. The reason I need the laser is to get that thing. Well, it's not to do that. No, what would that mean? That. But hey, I'll have it. Yeah. There we go. It's all vaguely coming back to me. There's probably something very, very good R-type sitting out there going, "You idiot! You could have got many more points, or done this, or done that." But that's fine. I'm happy to be just as good as I am at this. And it's down. Okay. And now I'm left trying to remember what the next level is, because it really has been a long time since I've played this. Oh god, that's right. So for the moment, I'm okay. This is one of those levels where it says if I die, like that, it gets substantially harder. That was pretty dumb. It's probably going to be the last dumb thing I do here. No, power-ups? Power-ups are for other people. Obviously. Come on, no. Power-ups really are for other people. Again, I'm certain there's probably someone who has completed this darn thing with no power-ups whatsoever, because the internet is that kind of creature. Good luck to you. Well played. Whoever that was. Wasn't me. It's not going to be me. My goodness, I'm doing a good job of convincing the world otherwise. And then I flew into the ground. A fine, fine piece of piloting from me there, I'm sure you'll agree. No, wait, the other thing, a terrible piece of piloting. What was I thinking? Why am I the one defending the Earth? Am I defending the Earth? I don't know. I'm defending against the evil Bido Empire, that's all I do know. Maybe it's some complicated trade dispute. And there's my second credit. Now the cracks are starting to show. Continue? Sure, why not? Okay, a power up. Already we're doing better. Ish. Maybe. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, these guys are trouble. You, sir, are a troublemaker. Oh, that will help. Well, it's certainly not going to hinder. This is a weird level, actually. When you look at everything that's going on, how does this ecosystem actually even work? Wouldn't the entire area of space just end up filled with these green dots if I wasn't here? Maybe I am part of the ecosystem. Maybe I'm massively, massively overthinking it. Oh, well, you look pleasant. Pleasant and friendly, I'm sure. Yeah, okay. Remember back to my classical training, always shoot for the glowy green bit, unless they fly into you and kill you outright, which is obviously what he just did, because I was too busy chatting. You know, I'm getting the distinct feeling that I'm hitting pretty much the skill level, but never say die, because frankly, I don't have time. I'm too busy getting killed. Wow, that was like I actually ordained it into being. Maybe I'll shut up for this last one. You can just enjoy the ride. however short it is. And there we go. That's 3 credits. That's as far as I got. So what do you think? Did you enjoy that? Anything else you'd like me to take a crack at playing 3 credits of? As they say in the classics on YouTube, let me know, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.